Welcome to all.
Good morning. Hopefully you can hear us. My lips are moving. If you can't hear us, send me a text or chat. This program's making their Smart 911 and making it work for you. I have Andy Marceau here with the Alpena Fire Department. He's kind of the chief safety person for the area, and he's been with us a number of times to explain to us various things we can do as people to make sure we have the safest environment at our home as possible. A little over 9 months ago when we started online, Andy came and gave us an overview of a number of subjects. One was the Smart 911 system. I had personally heard a little bit about it, but it was the first time I actually ever jumped into it. My parents are both in their 90s at that time and living in Grand Traverse County, and we really needed a way to my brothers and sister thought we needed to do something a little bit different. So I jumped in and put in Smart 911 system information for them. Fortunately, they have not had to use it, but it is going through that process. I found two things. One is it's got a lot of data. To me, it's very helpful. If I were a first responder, instead of waiting to get to the address before I knew something about the situation, you actually can provide the first responder with a lot of information, such as any allergies you have, your medical conditions, and so forth, that they don't have to try to figure out some of the things when they get there. So with that, I'm going to let Andy talk a little bit more about some of the details of Smart 911. Then we'll go through a program that the folks at the Smart 911 organization has put together as educational material. But with that, we'll let Andy go ahead.
Thank you, Dick. Yeah, it is a great program. It's free of charge. It's very secure. You're not putting bank accounts and social security numbers. You're putting pertinent safety information on this app, or it's on your computer. So it doesn't have to be on a phone. It can be on a computer. It is very worthwhile for EMS, fire, police. Some of the things, key locations. We have a lot of times in EMS, you lock your doors at night, which you should, but how are we going to get in? I can tell you, I have in mine, Smart 911, it says the code to my house is 2110. If somebody wants to break in, now they got it. Where do you hide a key? The dispatchers just, Roy Weckworth just pointed out that if you have pets, maybe your pet gets very active. If we knew your pet's name and call your pet by name, we might be able to, take that pet from being hyper and wild and maybe wanting to bite us to talking to the pet. The other thing that I like as a parent, and maybe this for you too, is it shows your location. I know you probably can't see it, but I have mine pulled up and it shows me right now at Johnson Street. So if I called 911, but maybe I couldn't speak, and I just stayed on the line, they would send EMS, fire, and probably police to this location right here, and they would find me possibly having a stroke. Maybe I've fallen or something. Numerous different things. You can also text 911. I know maybe you're not a big texter, but from a dad that has a 17-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, maybe they get themselves in a predicament that we all know the younger generation, they can text easily. Send a text. It pops up their information at the central dispatch, and it tells them that it's coming from Addison Marceau's cell phone and her location. And it gives, pertinent information, who her parents are and who are emergency contacts. And it's just as much or as little as you want, but it's very, very valuable. I can tell you it's very underutilized. Let's say in Alpena County, we have approximately 30,000 people. I know we were over 200 people using it, and I've been pushing it in I've been on this career now, or this job, for 2 years, and I've been pushing it. We're still under 1,000. I don't have exact numbers today, and I apologize for that, but it's getting underused. The other thing that dispatcher Mr. Roy Weckworth wanted to point out, if you are a member of like a Lifeline or a different organization, that doesn't give you all the pertinent medical history. It gives you you push the button, somebody says, do you need, Mrs. Smith, have you fallen? And you say, yes, I've fallen and need help, and they send it, or they call your family. If you called 911, if you were able, you can have both systems. This one will give us more pertinent information. So I really, really encourage everybody to take a look at it. And I think with what Dick has put together here from the Smart 911 people and any questions I can answer, I think we can get this done. And the hope is eventually one day that we all bring your phones or your computers into a building, and between Dick and I and maybe some other people to help you if you need help to set this up.
Thank you. We had one chat question here. We probably should have clarified in the beginning. This service is available all over most of the state of Michigan. Southeast Michigan apparently uses a different system. The goal of the state is to get everybody on a common system. So if you were to be in Traverse City and you called 911,
information pops up.
You would also be recognized by the system. It's not a unique to a certain geographic area. It's fairly uniform throughout the state of Michigan. Now, obviously, the issue of cell phone connectivity is a different subject, but usually the actual phone part works pretty good most places anymore. You can actually make a phone call. So it's only dependent on the phone connectivity. However, another question here, is it available out of state? If you go to the Smart 911 site, you will find it's available in a lot of states. It's used frequently. I didn't put a map in. Now, some of the maps may be slight. I live in Alpena County. If I look at the map, it says it's not supported, but if you go through the process, you find it is actually supported. So some of the information via the websites isn't actually current. So hopefully we answered those two questions. And as we'll go through here a little bit, if you have an elderly parent or relative that you're concerned about, you can actually set the Smart 911 information up remotely, and you can monitor what goes in there. That's what I've been doing. So with that, we're going to go to a little presentation and with some videos and so forth. Let's see. So this is just a presentation that is put together by the Smart 911 organization to help you understand the basics. Once you get into actually using the setting up your portal, we'll go down to that level of detail. But as Andy said, you get, when you call 911, you get various pieces of information. If it's a mobile call, you get a phone number. If you get a landline, you'll get more information. And with Smart 911, you get a lot more information this is the information that the 911 folks can see. And so it's a lot more extensive. You look down through here and it's got name, address, people in the household. You actually can put photos in, medical conditions, medications, allergies, rescue notes. And as Andy said, one of the very useful information that is given out is how do you get in through the door without breaking it down? I know my parents' case, they have a lock box, key box on the by the back door, and we put the code in the key box or code for the key box in the information.
Yep.
You can put in the locations of bedrooms. You can actually put in a layout of the house if you want. Another interesting part is vehicle description.
Yep.
Some of you may have elderly relatives or parents that you're concerned about they may wander off in their vehicle. And as my brother and I said, well, I know what the color of the car is, but I have absolutely no idea what the license plate is. So there's a lot of good information. Plus you can put in the emergency contact information, that's both a phone number and an email address.
To add that, I think a picture also of somebody, if you have somebody with the Alzheimer's or dementia, is huge. So
Right.
we know as first responders who we're looking out, and you can get that out to the news agencies ASAP and hopefully find that person safe and sound.
Right. That's a good point. You can put in photos of the people involved. You can also put in a photo of the house. If it's in a dense area and the addresses aren't always clear, that helps. So with this, I'm going to go through a video that we believe has something to do with Traverse City, but we'll find out.
Yep, I'll know right away.
Today's GMAD Index, a new high-tech tool that can help you in an emergency. The personal safety game changer is called Smart911, and ABC's Abby Boudreau has all the details.
And mother's frantic search. A woman stranded in her car with poor cell reception. And a man trapped inside his burning home.
I can hear you coughing. Is this Dan?
All of these are actual 911 recordings. All of them with happy endings. Thanks in part to Smart 911.
Yep, that's the Traverse City Chief.
911 system where you can prepare for an emergency before it happens.
I like to describe Smart 911 as 911 on steroids.
Lieutenant Jason Sims from Culver City, California Police Department says they are the first city in California to use Smart 911.
It dramatically increases the amount of information that we have available to our first responders.
Here's how it works. You create
Richard, no video is showing.
and include your name, home address,
Oh, really?
photos of family members, even your medical history. Is then stored in secure national databases. And if you call 911 from an area that uses the Smart 911 system, your profile will instantly pop up on the dispatcher's screen.
They can take that information, they can pass it on to the first responders and have them en route much faster.
And remember this 911 caller? Choking on the smoke from
I can't, the
inside his
cursor's
burning home.
not showing.
Dan, your Smart 911 that you signed up for has your address, and we have help coming for you.
And that Smart 911 profile, it cut 11 minutes off the response time.
It saved me, saved my life. Every day I'm here is a blessing.
For Good Morning America, Abby Boudreau, ABC News, Culver City, California.
11 minutes. Life-saving technology.
Yeah, it is.
And when every minute counts. All right, great. And
Well, we seem to be having some technical difficulties with the video.
That face that is used
No, I
to
can't
cover
even get it
our
turned
phone
off.
has
Let's see.
finally made an appearance. That face wouldn't be doing that if you weren't staying at a Verbo Lake House.
Thank you. In today's GMA Index, a new high-tech tool that can help you.
Well, let's see here. We'll try this one more time to see if we can get the actual video.
Share.
In an emergency, the personal safety game changer
Can you
is
see the
called
video now?
Smart 911, and ABC's Abby Boudreau has all the details.
Yes.
Okay, thank
and
you.
mother's frantic search.
My daughter is missing.
A woman stranded in her car with poor cell reception.
Good location on you. I can't hear you at all.
And a man trapped inside his burning home.
I can hear you coughing. Is this Dan?
All of these are actual 911 recordings, all of them with happy endings, thanks in part to Smart 911, an enhanced 911 system where you can prepare for an emergency before it happens.
I like to describe Smart 911 as 911 on steroids.
Lieutenant Jason Sims from Culver City, California Police Department says they are the first city in California to use Smart 911.
It dramatically increases the amount of information that we have available to our first responders.
Here's how it works. You create a safety profile online, which can include your name, home address, photos of family members, even your medical history. Your is then stored in secure national databases. And if you call 911 from an area that uses the Smart 911 system, your profile will instantly pop up on the dispatcher's screen.
They can take that information, they can pass it on to the first responders and have them en route much faster.
And remember this 911 caller? Choking on the smoke from inside his burning home?
Dan, your Smart 911 that you signed up for has your address, and we have help coming for you.
And that Smart 911 profile, it cut 11 minutes off the response time.
It saved me, saved my life. Every day I'm here is a blessing.
For Good Morning America, Abby Boudreau, ABC News, Culver
wanna
City,
talk
California.
Yeah.
11 minutes.
Life-saving technology.
Yeah, it is.
And when every
So
minute counts. All right,
that
great.
that
And
story
now-
of Dan was from Traverse City, Michigan. So that really hits home. You know, obviously it's only 2.5 hours from here, and a young guy just happened to sign up for it, and here it is, saved his life. That's how important this information is, and it's you know, I'm pushing it hard. I'm trying to, every time I put up a smoke alarm or a CO alarm, I'm giving the people information and hoping that they're doing exactly what Dick has done, that family members are stepping in and signing up their loved ones. It's life-saving information. And it's just as much or as little, and I keep pushing that. Obviously, more is better, but if people just had it and started, you know, every little bit, put some more in. I know it reminds you every year, if you haven't updated it, it'll send you an email and say, hey, your information is time to look at it, time to open it up and, and add some information. But again, it doesn't have to be on a cell phone. It can be on a laptop. It can be on a regular computer. When you register it off your cell phone numbers or your house numbers. And when you call from any of those numbers, for my household, we have 4 numbers registered, me, my wife, and my 2 kids. If any of them call, this information pops up and tells them what's the Marceau's like. But again, I have my daughter's car in there. So if she gets in an accident or goes in the snowbank and can't find out where she's at, if she calls from her cell phone, it's going to tell the dispatcher where she's at. It's going to pop up on the screen like I can see it on my cell phone. And that's huge for my wife and my daughter. They don't really keep track of where they're at. They know they're in Alpena, but they don't have a clue what road they drive on to get downtown. If they've taken 3rd, 2nd, or 1st to get downtown, they just know they're on a road and heading to downtown Alpena. And I'm serious about that, not trying to be rude with them, but they just don't pay attention to the name of the roads or what's going on. And so I think that's valuable information. The pictures, I think, are huge. If you want to add that, of especially your loved ones, you know, it worries me with dementia and Alzheimer's as people walk outside. Right now, it's really bad being it's cold, but if you know, they wander into the woods. If we could get a picture out, maybe somebody spotted that person. I know Dick's got more to the presentation, but if at any time we have questions, we'll answer those questions, or we'll get you the answers. And I'm not going to run off when this is all done. If we have more questions or things that people want to know, we'll do our best to answer them. Dick's been a great advocate for this program, and I thank him for that.
Okay, back to the presentation. Obviously, embedded links don't work that well anymore in Zoom. We'll skip some of these links in the PowerPoint. If you'd like to get a copy of the PowerPoint, send an email to the all@alpenacc.edu and we'll email it to you. It's available someplace on the internet, but it takes a while to figure out how to find it. So, you know, as we talked, the website's very secure. There's a lot of information, and it's really oriented towards a household. And any phone numbers, as Andy said, any phone numbers associated with that household can be put into the system. This kind of gives you an overview on a phone, once you go through the process of setting it up, what it looks like. And as you look at, you know, this has got 4 people in this household. As you go through this, one of the things to kind of remember is edit. You can go in and edit basic information, which is where you want to start, and then edit detail and medical information is the next step, basically. And as you go through those, you'll find different aspects you can edit for yourself and others. Now, they do also offer weather alert, and other alert systems that exist.
Yeah, that is county by county. That is a big debate. The state of Michigan used to pay for it for everybody in the county. Every county in Michigan, now they're pulling back, obviously with probably COVID. So it's going to be case by case basis. But that's where that's at.
Right. So personally, I didn't sign up for it. It's, you know, we don't have the same amount of severe weather as some locations do.
No.
And I was afraid it would confuse my parents and myself as to what was happening. Sign up. We'll go through some of these forms a little bit better, but this is the, how do you sign up for the service? Basically, you can Google search and go to, you know, Smart911. It'll bring you right up to the website, and you can go from there to start signing up. It's the same website wherever you're at. There's no county website or no state website or whatever. I'm going to start this link to this video, but it'll take me a second to get the actual video running so you can hear and see it.
Thank you for...
Where is it at? Well, let's see.
Visiting Smart911.com. By signing up, you can provide public safety and emergency management officials with the information they need to help you when you need it most. Smart911 allows you to create a secure safety profile with information about each member of your family, including pets. Therefore, you will only need one profile per household. Go to www.smart911.com. Once you reach the home page, click the green Sign Up button shown here. You will then be prompted to create a username and password and enter basic information to create an account. You'll notice the last field calls for an optional group code. If you were provided a group code through a community group or nonprofit association, you will enter it here. Otherwise, leave this section blank.
Just a note on this particular page, if you go into the website right now, it has an option in this in the upper area that asks, is this being completed by another person? And when you click on that, you will then be able to put in your address and so forth, your email address and so forth, so that you can continue completing. Example, my parents, they don't have an email address, or they don't really know how to access a computer very well. So this is a little bit out of date. So when you go into the actual the website, you'll have that one option. Just if you're doing it for someone else, you can click on that and then continue.
Once you have completed each required field, click Create Account. The first step to building your safety profile is to enter a home address. Once you have completed this step, click Continue. The following steps are to confirm your address. Take a moment to ensure the address you entered is displaying properly on the map. If the map looks inaccurate, you can click and drag the red marker to the appropriate location. Once you have completed this step, click Confirm this address. Now, in order for 911 personnel to have your information when you make an emergency call, you must confirm your phone. To confirm, you have the option to receive an automated text message or an automated phone call. If the timing is inconvenient, select Schedule a later call.
That must matter.
Now that your address and your phone are confirmed, you are directed to your Smart911 Safety Profile dashboard. From here, you can begin to input all the information that you want 911 to have in the event of an emergency. Information about each household member, addresses, additional phone numbers, emergency contacts, vehicles, and pets in the home. For example, if you have a severe allergy and you would like to note this in your profile, select Edit Details and Medical Info next to your name. You will then scroll down to the Medical Info section and select the Allergies category. Here, you will locate the appropriate type of allergy and select the level of severity. To complete this step, click Save and return to your Safety Profile dashboard. If you need to include information about another member of your household, click the Add button in the People Household category. The details you enter can be adjusted at any time by simply logging into your account. Here is an example of what a completed household profile might look like. As you can see in Jane's profile, you have the option to include multiple phone numbers in your safety profile. In Jane's profile, she has 3 phone numbers listed. Each of these phone numbers can only be linked to one account. Now, every Smart911 community offers a different combination of services to their citizens. Opt in and manage all services available to you in the Preferences section. To ensure the details you enter are up to date when you make an emergency call, you must log into your account and verify your information at least once every 6 months.
6 months has changed.
No, yeah.
So
Sign up for Smart911 today.
Just a point, this information, as it says, a little bit out of date. The information is good for 1 year and they will contact you and have you confirm. Now, if you signed up as a person who's completing the form for someone else, they'll actually contact you.
Yes. Let's see. Did you see that question?
What's that?
Somebody had a question on there. If you put it on your phone, can you update it on your computer? Absolutely. It works hand in hand. So you just go into Smart911, put your information in, and you can update it. If you're easier to update it on your laptop or your iPad or your computer, that's the beauty of it. It's portable.
Right, and you can go and partially set it up and then go back in and do it, add data. I know it took me about a week and a half to get through the whole setup. Get this back. We'll continue through the slideshow here. As they talk, the registry, you can do it on a tablet, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on a computer. It's all pretty straightforward. You can have someone help you. There's no issues there.
Nope.
We talked about as there's no real personal information such as bank accounts, social security numbers, et cetera. There's, someone can help you do this. It's really how much information you feel is really important. And as we showed on the video, you can put in different residents. It's a household oriented setup. So try to put in all the residents of your house. So that if there were to be multiple people found by the EMS folks, they wouldn't wonder who they were.
Yep.
So that's what you as a person puts in. Then 911, as you see in this illustration, sees a different set of information, but it's something that can be is seen by the 911 folks, which then can be conveyed via various mechanisms to the first responders.
To add to that, I've been told by the 911 dispatchers, they can't get Dick's phone number and say, I want to find out what kind of health problems Dick has. They can't put in Dick's number at Central Dispatch and pull up his Smart911 account. It only comes up if one of the numbers that you have had registered, phone numbers that is, calls the call center, this 911, and then it pops up on the screen. So they stress that to me, that it's again secure. Again, there could be breaches, but what are they really getting? Most all the information you are getting is stuff you can get off the internet. If I want to know more about Dick, I could put his name in there and find out probably his address and get his phone number and stuff like that. So
Andy?
Now,
yes.
Yeah, Andy, what if you collapse or something and someone else calls in for you on their phone? Can you access my Smart911 somehow?
Unfortunately, we cannot, is my understanding. It's only from those numbers that came from your phone number.
If you were in that situation, you would want to, if somebody has a smartphone, they can dial 911 from the phone without unlocking it or anything.
Yep.
It's just something to remember if that situation were to occur.
Right. If it's, if they can access my phone. Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. So it's if you look on your phone or mess around with it, when it's locked, you can actually you can do an emergency call. I think it's labeled on a lot of phones. Another important thing here is being able to clarify where your address is on the map. Unfortunately, in northern Michigan, you'll find the Google Maps and addresses are sometimes a long ways apart. Having searched for people before, especially Presque County.
Yeah.
But this way you can actually move the location of your house to the correct location on the map. So that's something to consider. We've talked a little bit about this. We won't go through all of, there's all sorts of things you can communicate to 911. Medical information is obviously important. Also, emergency contacts, and if something were to happen, finding somebody's emergency contact information, I would think would be difficult for emergency folks. Obviously, smart missing people, children, adults, etc. helps with that. And you get to decide what to include. When I went through my information for my parents, I didn't put in everything. I put a picture in and a photograph for both of them, and the photograph of their house, and what I knew about the house that might be important. Obviously, things like they'll ask you for where's the gas meter, and where's things like that, which some places that's pretty obvious. Other places that's not so obvious where the gas meter is. I don't. There's still houses with the gas meter in the basement.
I think there still is some.
So, and that's the kind of thing that, especially if you have an unusual situation, would be useful. As we talked about, accurate mobile location. Even if you're away from your home, it gives you a better location information. So with that, I'm going to go to a slightly different. I'm going to go into the form detail, I hope.
Dick, you got some questions stacking up in the chat.
Oh,
it's not showing up on my screen.
No. Do local state fire departments, law enforcement said have access to this info outside of? No, we do not. We only get this information if somebody's called from one of those registered numbers. So I can't even get into your information. They don't have a smartphone.
Yeah, the last one from Chuck Austin, that's exactly the situation my parents were in. They don't have a smartphone. They gave up on phones because they couldn't keep them charged and they were confusing. So they have a landline. I set it up for the landline, and it takes a little bit of. I called up my mother and said, "Okay, something's going to ring the phone here. Pick it up and push 1, and then hang up, and I'll call you back." So that's what we did to get the phone registered. So there's a little bit of, if you're going to do it for someone else. Now, if you're going to do it, it's just something you have to think about as you go through there. And I think we hit some of these other ones.
There's another one about snowbirds and how you handle that.
I'm not sure exactly how you handle that. You might be able to put a second address in, but again, if you're putting it on an app on a phone, when you call, it's going to show up on the screen where you're at. I think about it as I'm a person that usually goes on spring break, and long as when I go to the Tampa area, Florida or Sarasota, if they have Smart911, when I call, it may show my Alpena information, but it's going to tell them who I am, and it's going to give me all the medical information, but it's going to give them a location where I'm currently at, because I may not know the roads down there. So if you can maybe put in a second address.
Well, yeah, but it's still going to show the location.
Location, yeah, that's what the big thing is.
Now, provided that state has Smart 911. Yep. This is a form that we can email to you if you're interested. This is, if you're going to sign up, I'd suggest you go through and fill this out first, so it's easier to get in and start putting in data. Obviously, in names, you can put in a lot more names. Your home address, which is it's a household address. Phone numbers, again, as Andy said, all the phone numbers associated with that household would be included in here. Emergency contacts, you can put in emergency contacts with their names, their emails. I believe you can put in their address. My brother lives a few miles from my parents, so when we put in the emergency contact, we made sure it was clear that he was in Grand Traverse County, and this was his address, his email, and his cell phone number.
It sure does look like you can add multiple addresses. It's got addresses, and that's the first link, and then it says a plus, so you could add two, and then you could even edit basic info. You could put that you're in Alpena or at this address, say from April 1st till October 1st. So I mean, it looks like it has planned for all those scenarios.
Yeah, I think, well, and that's why I said it's good if you're gonna, it's good. We certainly would think you'd want to sign up for this. It's good to be a little bit prepared. As I went into it, I didn't quite know what to expect, and as I said, it took me 3 or 4 iterations to get the information pulled together to put in into the system. But it's very easy to put in. You can edit it, you can change it. The key thing is remember to save when you're done. This is the basic information, and you can put in multiple vehicles, as you saw in some of the examples. As I went into the medical information, obviously we talked a little bit about the allergies, what you're allergic to. They've added now a section on quarantine status and your current health status, general health conditions, mobility limitations obviously would be very instrumental to the EMS folks. Heart, they specifically have an area about heart disease, breathing problems. Again, if you'd like a copy of this, send us an email at all@alpenacc.edu and we'll email it to you.
Another thing they're doing right now on it is you're doing a COVID update. And I think that's every 6 months, I think, or even 4 months, it's sending you need to update your COVID information. Do you have any COVID symptoms? And there's only like 3 or 4 questions, but to me, that is huge for us as first responders. We're getting called to a fair number of COVID patients even yet today. And if we know in advance, obviously we can take the precautions to protect ourselves, which in turn protects our families. So thank you for if you fill that out.
Moving on to the second page of the data prep, you can again see what type of conditions might exist in behavioral, neurological, cognitive behavior, especially if you have elderly relatives. Sometimes they're not always in tune with what's happening. So if they get confused easily, it's probably a good thing to put in here. The one thing I noticed was on prescription medications. When I got into that, I was expecting to have to type in a whole long list of medications, but then I found out, well, it's really, they're asking, what is your medication for? So as you go through here, you may have to go back and figure out exactly which if there's certain serious situations that you want to clarify what is the what is the medicine you're taking, what's the condition it's trying to improve. Obviously, things like blood thinners and so forth are very important to know from a medical condition. Cancers, organ transplants, there's a whole lot of different items to put into the form. So that kind of gives you a quick overview of what they're looking for. The actual process of inputting the data is fairly straightforward. If you're familiar with computers and data forms anymore, it's just a check and there's a area you plus or check on the plus to expand an area and check on a minus to reduce the area. So that gives you a real quick overview of thank you, Ron, for putting Ron's got our email address in the chat box for all of those who might want to send us an email. Now with that, are there any questions from anybody else that haven't been covered on chat? Just unmute yourself and let us know.
So if you have a cell phone that doesn't work at your house, so you have a landline at your house, do I have to do an app on the phone and the www for my landline, or do I do just one, which would probably be the computer sign up?
You just do one. The database is in the cloud, so to speak. So, you know, when you sign on from your phone or you sign, you know, if you want to put in data, you can do it on your phone in the morning, in the afternoon, you can do it on your computer. Nothing resides on your device. There's nothing that stays on your, you know, laptop or your phone. It's all in a database that's accessible from the internet.
So if I put it in from my computer, I don't need to download the app for my phone. My cell phone will get it from my computer, from whatever's in the cloud that I put in the computer.
If you want to have access via your phone, you would have to download the app. But they all go to the same account.
But yes, list both numbers. If you have a landline and a cell phone, list both those numbers when you're signing up for the Smart 911. You know, like I told you, my home phone, they're not home phones, but my family members, I have registered all 4 numbers for my wife and 2 kids.
Right.
So any of those 4 numbers are called, even if one of them was a landline and one was a cell phone, with any of those 4 numbers, call 911, this information is popping up. And then I saw that it said that you can't be on 2 Smart 911s, the number can't be. So eventually, as my 17 or 18-year-old daughter moves away and goes to college or, you know, moves out of the house, I will have to remove her and she would sign up for her own Smart 911, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you said that in southern Michigan or southeastern Michigan, they're not on this system. Who would we call to find out whether they are or not?
There's a map. I believe Dick found it. I've seen it. Smart911.com has a map of which counties have it, which don't. I know, was it Presqu'île spotty or doesn't have it right now, but they're looking to get it.
Alpena has some alternative. If you go to Smart 911, one of the things they'll ask you to do is put in your zip code, and they'll tell you what services are available for that zip code. So if you had a zip code in Southeast Michigan, you could go in and see what kind of services Smart 911 has in that zip code.
Yep, Smart 911 availability. Yep. Enter your zip code.
Did that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
I could, if you want, I can go to Smart 911, maybe.
Well, Dick's doing that. I'm going to just briefly talk about COVID. I hope you all are trying to get that vaccine. I've been at numerous events now. We had a big one at the mall on Tuesday where they did 600 and some. They did mostly school teachers, and then they had some other 65 and older. There's a big one this Saturday at ACC. They're looking to do 1,000. It's my understanding that they're all pre-registered on the website at District Health Department number 4, and then they call you and give you a time. Also, follow up with your family physicians. They're starting to get out there. I can tell you, my wife is a school teacher, and she actually got called before the teachers got theirs on Monday. It was actually Monday. Medical arts, as most of us know it around here, Mid-Michigan Family Medicine on Long Rapids Road, are also doing it. So we basically have 2 different ways to get it. If you're part of a medical group through Mid-Michigan, they're doing it at the auditorium at the hospital with you got to have a pre-signed or a time. Can't just pre-register. You can't just walk in. So they're doing it, and they're getting a different batch of the vaccine. It seems like most of them have been using Pfizer up here. That's the one where it's got to be super, super cold. And I know Mid-Michigan, it's stored down in Midland, Michigan. And I know the ones that are getting it for District Health are stored over in Gaylord, Michigan, and coming across in the morning. And then that one is 21 days, give or take 2 days on each side that you have to have it. And then the Moderna is another one that's still being done up here too. So I know it's out there. I can tell you I personally have signed up for my mother and father-in-law, and they haven't got called yet. I was told by my mother-in-law she now has it scheduled through her family physician up in Rogers City. That's where she goes. But whenever you can get it, please take it. You can always cancel the other one and it'll go to somebody else. They're not wasting doses. Each vial is carrying supposed to carry 5 doses. They're pulling anywhere from 6 to 7 doses out. And so that's pretty awesome. So they're getting more people done. When it comes to getting the vaccine, we did ours at the city fire department. I can tell you I got mine in the morning, and in the afternoon I had a slight headache on the first one. Some people had some fatigue, but for the most part, everybody did very well. On the second one, again, you might have that sore arm. I recommend Tylenol a couple times, maybe a couple hours after you take it, and then maybe you go to bed, and then maybe some more in the morning. Some people did have some symptoms of fatigue on the second one where they just felt they were drained. You might get a fever, but it's been very, very mild. I can tell you that across the board. If you just plan ahead, that you might be a little bit under the weather when you take it, so don't try to plan nothing the next day. That's probably the best recommendation. And so here's what I've been told. After you take the first dose, a week or like 3 weeks later, sometime in between that next dose, you're 50% protected. After you take the second dose, a week later, you're 95 to 97% protected. Doesn't mean you can't get it, I guess. And then I'm hearing rumors that you could still be a carrier. But if you do get it, it should be a lot less. So that should be good news. Right. If you have any questions on COVID, I'm not a COVID expert, but I've been assigned to going to as many of the events in Alpena County as possible to be there in case anybody does have allergic reaction to it. And we have not had any allergic reactions to the ones that I've been to.
Good.
I'm a little confused on the 911 sign up. If you sign up on your computer and you enter your cell phone number in there, do you still have to put an app on your phone, or can you just call 911?
No, you don't. You don't need the app on your phone.
Okay.
The app is only there to add information from your phone to the database.
Thank you.
This is, if you go to smart911.com, this is what you're going to see. And a lot of this we've already been through.
Have a location.
Somewhere, right? This is the first. So click on that, and obviously set up so you can, you know, like in my parents' case, I clicked on system would be contacted, would help me keep this up to date. And you can go through that. And once you create the account, then it'll go through and ask you for your address and so forth. Well, I guess one key thing when you first start up, click on put a phone in here that can receive a confirmation. So as it showed, you'll be able to select certain features of confirmation, but make sure that's the phone you're going to use to confirm the phone is correct for the system. And then later on, once you get in a created account, then you can go add all the different information. And you said there was someplace down here.
It was, I typed in our, maybe, I don't know what, if you're on a different, how it works.
Find services in your area is all the way at the bottom.
Yep.
So.
Could you try?
Well, this is for
Alpena County.
Alpena County. Whoops, went away. Well, somebody I think wanted to find out.
Yeah.
What's another zip code you'd like to find out?
48328.
48328.
Yes.
Yep. Looks like it. No, not yet. Supported by 911 Center. So it's not quite there yet.
Okay, thanks.
Hopefully they're all going to go to it. I think Michigan is really pushing for that. So
right.
I would have thought it'd been done by now, but I think, not to use excuses, but I think this COVID has caused a lot of things that we're moving forward to bog down.
So with that, any further questions? Any closing comments?
Nope. If you have any questions, concerns, please always feel free to contact me. You guys are a great group. I hope, again, soon, maybe this summer, we can actually get in person and do some more programs. I really enjoy coming here and talking. So thank you. Thanks to Dick.
Well, as I said, I think this is an important feature, important system that you could benefit from. It's not difficult to maneuver through. And I think that, as I said, if you can help someone, assist someone with it, that's great. And it works, in a variety of circumstances that you might not think about. So with that, we'll close unless there's any final comments. With that, we will end the program. Thank you.
Have a good day.